Rivers here. It's a great privilege to be able to talk and tell stories to the people I love most in this world. I've had some really funny things happen to me in my life, and I've had some wonderful things happen, and I've had some hard things happen too. And as I get older, I start to kind of see I'm able to connect the dots with a lot of things that have happened in my life. I want to tell you a funny story. Back in 1974, in November of 1974, I was a 100% greenie in Finland. I'll tell you more about my mission, which I absolutely loved. And I had really great companions. I had good mission presence. I loved the Finns. I love the country of Finland. I still have people that I know and love that are friends of mine who are Finns and live in Finland, and wonderful experiences with missionary companions and fellow missionaries. And it was the most wonderful thing that I think happened to me other than marrying Queenie. So let me back up a little bit. I have a really good sized noggin, a good sized head. And it's hard to find hats that fit my head. And sometimes hats will say, one size fits all. That's a total bunch of crap. That's not true at all. And whenever I can find a hat that fits, man, I grab it and I run with it. So here I am in Finland back in 1974. It's starting to get really, really cold. And they had these really cool Russian fur hats, was how I would describe them. And they were this big hat that had fur and probably, I would kind of maybe think I look like a dork now wearing it. But back then, I thought it was cool to have a Russian fur hat. And so I went with my companion to the local department store and trying to find a Russian fur hat that would fit my head. So we walked into this department store over to the hat section, and there were like two or three, and I might add, they're quite good looking sales people, girls, little older than us. And we told them what we were looking for. My companion had been in Finland for about 3 months, and I'd been in for maybe a couple of weeks. And so my Finnish was pretty terrible, and my companion, his Finnish wasn't bad. In fact, it was pretty darn good, especially that he'd only been there for a while. And so we explained that I wanted to find a Russian fur hat. On my mission, we didn't experience a lot of success. We did a lot of tracting, going door to door, knocking on doors, and hoping against hope that somebody would open up and that we'd be able to tell them about the gospel and bear our testimonies and maybe even baptize them, some really cool stuff like that. So anyway, we're at this department store and we are trying on hat after hat after hat. And some of them were so tiny on my head that I felt like I was wearing a yarmulke rather than a hat. And nothing was even coming close to remotely fitting. We tried every single hat that they had in that store and just no luck. I was pretty bummed out. And you could tell that the salespeople were pretty bummed out because they weren't going to be getting a sales commission on a sale of a nifty, Russian fur hat. So anyway, one of them got really frustrated and said to the other two, speaking in Finnish, thinking that I didn't understand Finnish, which I really didn't at the time, and that my companion didn't understand Finnish. And she said, with kind of a smile on her face to her two friends, Hānellā on hevosen, which translated is he has the head of a horse. Whoa. Um, and it went just over my head. And my companion started laughing uncontrollably. And the girls, the saleswomen, were very embarrassed because they didn't think that either one of us would understand that. I sure as heck didn't. And I looked over at my companion and I said, "What's so funny?" And he said, "They said that you have the head of a horse." Now, I wish I could tell you that somehow, some way, we found a Russian fur hat that fit perfectly. I didn't happen. And that I looked really, really manly on my solid, stolid, finished bike as we're trudging from neighborhood to neighborhood, knocking on doors. I never did find a hat that fit. I had to find knit hats that I could kind of pull over my ears and to brave the Finnish cold. And I survived. I have survived 68 years with the head of a horse. So that's what I have to tell you.